Hello, hello. This is Chris Vetrano, and you are listening to The Gist. This is our weekly pop culture podcast, and here it is, January 12th. And guys, I still have my Christmas lights up. Is that a normal thing? I don't know. We're usually we have them up through the holiday, through the new year, and then it's like first week of January, we take them down. And this morning on the way to the gym, I had to do a little loop through the neighborhood just to see who actually still has their Christmas lights up. And the people that put them up before Thanksgiving that go all out, there's a couple of houses on our street that really do it up. They're down. And so that really made me feel like I might be late to the game here and we need to get ours down. So I think we're going to get on that this weekend. Hopefully we will see. But what do you think? Let me know. I'm at CM Vetrano on Twitter, Instagram. You can find me at Listen It's Vetrano on Facebook. Slide into those DMs. Let me know what is too late to have your Christmas decorations up, because I'm starting to feel like my neighbors are giving me dirty looks. But anyways, that is not why we're here. We're here to talk about the breaking pop culture news. And so far, 2023 has delivered in the Bravo universe. So we're going to be doing kind of a big Bravo episode today, because hot off our most recent episode where we talked about Jen Shah's prison sentence. And can I just say, guys, I got some haters on the last episode. I, at one point, referred to Jen Shah going to jail. I got schooled by a couple of you that let me know jail is county and where Jen Shah is going is federal prison. And I am aware of that. But, sometimes when you're doing these things, you slip up and you say the wrong thing. So I do know Jen Shah is going to prison. But I appreciate you guys listening none the same. And I think that so we talked about Jen Shah, and then Lisa Rinna announced after 8 seasons that she was leaving the upcoming season of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She claimed that it was a mutual parting. Andy Cohen has since come forward, said that it most likely is. He's kind of confirming those rumors that it was a mutual parting of the ways, saying that he hopes that, like Dorinda on New York, this will be a pause for Lisa, that it was time for her to take a little step back from the show, but that he does hope that she will return. I'm not sure if others feel the same way, but Andy, I guess, wants more Lisa Rinna, knowing what she brings to the show. But fresh off of that news, we have tons of new casting news, tons of Bravo things happening in that space, and so. Following Rinna's news, we're just gonna dive right into it, because I've got a list of like all the casting announcements, all of the things that are going on. We also heard that Diana, who was on the last season of Beverly Hills, I know that you might be saying who, because exactly, she was not a huge staple in this last season, and I don't know if she's really going to be delivering much else to the storyline. I don't think that this is a pause for Diana. I think that she was not renewed to come back, though she cites that her pregnancy is the reason that she's not returning to the show. She announced her departure, but I think everyone saw that coming. She didn't even show up to the reunion, guys. So let's be clear. She wasn't ever really in the running, but so that's not really the breaking news. But Beverly Hills does seem to be shaping up. Though there have been no official casting announcements, the rumors are that Erica is returning. She was interviewed by TMZ and somewhat alluded to the fact that while that Rinna would be missed in this upcoming season, which fans are assuming that means that she in fact is being renewed, or at least will be filming. Garcelle, in response to Lisa Rinna news, posted a video on her Instagram with the Elton John song "I'm Still Standing." So people are again connecting the dots on that, saying that Garcelle, in fact, will also be back, and Kyle and Sutton are also rumored to be, or expected, I think, to be back for this upcoming season. The ones that seem to be, if the rumor mills are true, that are potentially on the chopping block, or are unknowns, are Crystal. The rumors are that potentially she is either a friend of or does not return. And then Dorit, which I think is the big one. I can't imagine Dorit being a friend of. I've come to really love Dorit. I loved her in her first season when she told Rinna that if she could smell her breath, she was too close. And I loved that. I loved that version of Dorit, I should say. I think that her storyline got very dark last season with the robbery and being held at gunpoint and the PTSD that she was going through. So potentially producers want her to also take a bit of a step back from the series. And so we'll see. I think that she would be, and I mean, honestly, like Dorit, a friend of, like, what a friend of Mauricia's? I don't know. So I think that Dorit would be a bit of a miss if she didn't come back, but we'll see what happens. And then obviously Kathy Hilton is up in the air. She was a friend of the last 2 seasons. We'll see if she returns for as a friend of this season. I have seen some rumors online that Paris Hilton may be in talks to join as an official cast member. I don't see that. I don't think Paris wants to put her life on TV the way in which Bravo would require her to. So I think that that's just good Twitter fodder. I think people are kind of putting that out in the universe, but I don't know if that's reality. So also there's rumors that maybe Brandi Glanville will be returning. She posted kind of a cryptic note over the holiday of her holding a diamond and kind of teasing a return. She is making a return to the channel in quite a way. She will be on the upcoming series Traders, which I'm very interested in what this is going to be. I don't really fully know. I'm getting not a ton from the preview or from the trailer. I do know that it's a show in Europe that they have already done. And so this is like the American version. And so I don't know a lot about it, but am interested, and Brandi is on that. So people are potentially talking about that she was teasing that return. The other casting news, which we'll get to later, but Brandi may have also been teasing that. So we'll get to Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip here in a bit. I know that's probably why you're tuning in for the casting news, because man, oh man, wow, are there things to talk about there? But we're going to save that. But I think Beverly Hills is in an interesting place. It's a bit of a shakeup. It needs a bit of a shakeup, I think. And I think honestly, the cast needs to get bigger. And I'm not just talking about like the 6 housewives or the 5 housewives or whomever they sort of sign on. I think we need some friends of. I think Real Housewives of Miami is doing that on fire right now. I think that they've picked kind of like their cast of women, and then there's these incredible side players. The friends of are just as important and critical to the scenes as the full-time housewives, and it keeps the storyline moving. It gives a lot to kind of like digest. I mean, Miami is just delivering on all cylinders. And we'll talk more about that in the coming episodes. But and also I think Real Housewives of Potomac is doing that, because you've got the friend of Mia's, Jacqueline, who is now they're having a huge fight, and it's like it feels like a real fight. I mean, it kind of has this like Joe and Teresa vibes back from when Joe and Melissa first joined New Jersey. Like there's real family history in those fights, and Jacqueline is like a family member to Mia. There's rumors that like maybe Jacqueline was trying to sleep with Mia's husband, and maybe there was an arrangement for that. We're still sorting through the mess there, but that's like that's what people want to see, is like real storylines, not things like playing out where it feels really artificial. And so I think that Potomac's doing it really well. Again, like Charisse is back from, she's been kind of a friend of, she was an original full-time housewife. And Karen and her have some real deep-seated beef that like goes beyond the show. And I think having Charisse back has like, I mean, this last episode of Potomac was just, it ended with fireworks. And so next week we'll talk about it, because I kind of want that whole scene to play out, because of course in true Bravo history they ended us with a to be continued. And so I want to see how that plays out, but we got to talk about that. But Karen versus Charisse, like, it feels real, it feels deep, and that's what we want to see, is real stuff playing out on this show. And so I think the bigger the cast, the better. I mean, I think, you know, obviously Wendy is one of the full-time housewives of Potomac. And quite frankly, guys, in this last episode, I forgot she was a housewife. When she comes on the screen, I forget that she's there. She's really not delivering this season. I don't know. She seems really sleepy. She doesn't seem to really be gelling with any of the girls. I think she came out really strong. She had a bit of a strange, sophomore season where she really kind of, I think, the celebrity got to her. And now this season, I think the girls are just sort of not sure what to do with her. And, so it's been interesting. I mean, she has played out in some of the drama, obviously, between her and Mia and other things. But she showed up to the dinner this week, and I literally forgot that Wendy was on the show. So I digress. Not casting news, but maybe next season casting news. Maybe Wendy's on the chopping block. We'll see. And then other news. I mean, like I said, Bravo just started delivering this year. They're just where we usually have to like wait for these announcements and these trailers and the casting news. Bravo's just throwing it all at us. And they also released over this last week the Vanderpump Rules trailer for season 10. Yep, it's still on. If you've fallen off, I understand. I think that these shows with the young kids, they change so much. Their storylines are completely different than what the show originated with. But we did see some new faces, maybe some returning faces. Allie, who is James's new girlfriend, is a full-time cast member on Vanderpump Rules this season. Know nothing about her, so we'll see how that plays out. And then Christina Kelly, she's back. You probably don't remember her because she was kind of this, like, she wasn't even like a friend of on Vanderpump Rules. She was their friend who I felt like probably just showed up on the days that these people were filming, and that was that. She's back, and she's like a full-time cast member. So I really don't know how we got herself into that. I almost said weaseled her way, and that's not very nice. But because maybe she's fire. We'll see. I just don't really remember anything that she brought. So seeing that she was back as a cast member this season felt very strange. But like I said, these shows have changed so much. I think, Southern Charm is on and Summer House. I think these other like young kid shows, and I say young kid like I'm like a 90-year-old grandpa, which sometimes I feel like, but these shows, as these people grow up, it's like very interesting to see how they try to continue their storylines. I mean, when you have a show about like young single kids that are doing partying and doing each other, and that's great television. Like what's Leva's show Southern Hospitality is doing right now. It's like, it's new cast. They all have like this, young spirit. But at some point it's like, is 10 seasons for Vanderpump too much? And I think we're also starting to now see that with Southern Charm, where, in going back to our casting news, again, nothing is ever confirmed until Bravo says it, but the rumors are that production has started on I think it's the 9th season of Southern Charm, and that Shep has not been asked back. I think that makes total sense. I don't know what else he really brings to the series. He's just he doesn't have a lot going on, and I think his story has run its course. So I wouldn't be surprised if that rumor is true. And then also the rumors are that after 8 seasons, Catherine Dennis is also not going to be coming back for the show. And obviously she was kind of this pinnacle. I mean, frankly, she was kind of the Lisa Rinna. She was like the villain on the show for a number of seasons. But in this last couple of seasons, she really like lost her way. There's so much darkness going on behind the scenes with her custody battle and with her ex. I guess they never got married, but ex Thomas. They are. She just didn't have anything, and the rumors were that she often didn't show up to filming. She was really horrible to the crews on set, and so I think that they just again felt like she had sort of run her course. People have said online that she's been hanging out a lot in New Orleans and with the old Southern Charm New Orleans cast. That show was canceled. I don't think it's being brought back, but there were rumors that I was seeing pop up that maybe Catherine was going to be sort of helping to reboot the New Orleans cast of Southern Charm. I don't know if there's any truth to that, because the kind of like late breaking is that Catherine announced that she joined OnlyFans and even added it to her Instagram bio. And so I feel like when someone announces that they've joined OnlyFans, I think that it's the best way to sort of announce that you also lost your job. So no offense to OnlyFans folks. I know that some of y'all are making millions and good for you. But I think that obviously, like being on OnlyFans, I don't know if that's enough for a storyline. So I do think that she's looking now at what is her kind of next venture, since she has not been asked back to Southern Charm. Here we are at the moment, the biggest kind of casting news that has come this week, which when I first saw it, I thought that it was just, again, more rumors, because constantly there's casting rumors coming up. But Bravo confirmed it. Bravo announced it. So as I've said, if Bravo doesn't announce it, it's not real. Bravo announced the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Season 4 cast. I have so many thoughts. I don't even know where to go with this. But okay, first of all, I just have to say, we have not seen Season 3 yet. We know the cast. We've seen photos. We've seen... we've heard rumors about certain things that may or may not have played out in that. But the trailer, the official trailer, premiered at BravoCon, but we never actually have seen it online. So most people have not actually even seen the trailer for Season 3. And we don't actually even have a date of when this is going to go live. Because Whitney and Heather from Salt Lake City are cast members on Season 3 Ultimate Girls Trip, we think that now that Beverly Hills, now that Salt Lake City's season is ending, we think that that will play into Ultimate Girls Trip, because we assume that that storyline continues to play out in this Season 3. So that may also be why they've been holding back on the trailer and the announcements, is because they didn't want to spoil anything that was to come on Salt Lake City. But it's been very interesting that we are already getting Season 4 cast. And I think if you listened to my top 2022 moments of pop culture, I mentioned, and I think it was a little bit controversial, I mentioned that the Lisa Rinna, Kathy Hilton feud was one of the top 10 moments. And I realize that a lot of folks did not feel like that was a pop culture moment of history, because what actually played out on the show wasn't that exhilarating and didn't deliver, I think, what people had hoped it would. The reason that I added it to the list, the top 10 list, is that I had mentioned that I think that it's at this point where Bravo producers are realizing that these shows are they have such a following, and that people are literally chomping at any kind of news that they can get their hands on. And like I said, tons of casting rumors all the time, tons of things that you're hearing that, boots on the ground of what people are seeing. Oh, I saw so-and-so at this restaurant and they were with this person, and that means that these two people must have broken up, and you are going to see all of that in the next season. And so all this stuff is happening in the news constantly, and they can't keep up. And I think that's what happened with the Lisa and Kathy fight on Beverly Hills. Was there was so much news in pop culture news outlets that people knew or felt like they knew the storylines. They felt they knew what was going to happen. And then when it actually aired, the way that they cut it together, it didn't deliver. And so I think that everyone's now kind of scrambling, saying we've got to like deliver these storylines a little bit more real time. We've got to put things out. We're probably going to I have a feeling they're going to churn these shows out faster. There's going to be less editing time, less time in between filming and going live. You've already seen some of the shows have not resumed filming as they normally would. A lot of the like Housewives, for example, they get off of the reunions and sometimes they instantly are back filming within a couple of weeks. And we're seeing that sort of like get paused. We're seeing delays in production. And I think that that's the production's way of saying we can't do anything until we're ready to like put it on air, because everything just gets spoiled. I mean, I talked about Real Housewives of Potomac. We saw the scene where Mia throws a drink at Wendy play out online months before we ever saw it on TV, because there was someone at that restaurant who had their camera phone. Oh my gosh, it's the 90s. They had their iPhone and they captured footage of that whole fight playing out. And sure, we didn't have like all the audio of it, but we knew Mia threw a drink. Things got a little wild. It all played out online before it ever hit Bravo. And so I think that's part of it, is they're getting ready to film for season 4 Ultimate Girls Trip. And so I think they had to announce the cast because they wanted to be the first to announce it. They didn't want, someone to see all of these folks at the airport together and say they are here and they are filming Ultimate Girls Trip 4. So anyways, let's get to the cast. The cast is a little interesting. I feel like we have so many housewives in the Housewives universe, but we're recycling 4 from season 2, which was the last season that aired, which they called the Ex-Wives Club. They're recycling 4 of those housewives from Bluestone Manor. Vicki Gunvalson from the OC is back. We've got Phaedra Parks, who's back from Atlanta. Brandi Glanville, as I mentioned earlier in the episode, she was teasing some kind of diamond return, and potentially this is what she was teasing. And then Eva Marcel from Atlanta as well. And so they were all in season 2 together, and now they're going on this trip for season 4. So that's already interesting, because I feel like there are so many housewives, and there are so many housewives that aren't housewives anymore. Like, where's Vanderpump? Where is there are a couple, like, we just got rid of Ramona. Maybe it's time for her to like be on one of these trips, provide some of this. Well, I guess Ramona was on the first season, so that was a bad example. But where are Carlton, what's her name? Like, she was the witchy poo. Like, there are people that could potentially like bring something or bring drama to the show. And so it's very interesting to see them recycling some of these folks. Alexis from OC would have been great. I think there's just, I don't know. I guess we'll see how it plays out. Vicki is also filming for the upcoming season of Real Housewives of OC. She is not a full-time cast member, but she has been given friend of status. So she is like back in the Bravo universe. Again, Brandi is on the upcoming series Traitor. She's also teasing her return to Beverly Hills. There's rumors that she may be a friend of or back as a housewife. So she's back on. Eva, I don't think has much going on outside of Ultimate Girls Trip, so good for her, girl. And Phaedra, this is like breaking news. This happened right before we sat down to record this, but I am hearing this, again, isn't confirmed by Bravo, but by Bravo insiders that typically have the inside intel from production, that Phaedra Parks is actually going to be joining Married to Medicine. She's been dating a doctor. She's in Atlanta where they film. there are issues with her rejoining Atlanta, which a lot of people have called for, but her and Candy cannot work out. Candy has essentially given Bravo the ultimatum that she won't return if Phaedra comes back. But I know Andy and Bravo really want Phaedra back on our television screens, as do most of us. And she really delivered in season 2 of Ultimate Girls Trip. And so I think the producer saw that, Bravo saw her following and wants to get her back on. She had a cameo on Real Housewives of Dubai. There was rumors that she was going to be joining that cast and moving to Dubai. I don't know if we are getting a season 2 of Dubai. There's really been no news. A couple of like things that, Lisa Milan, no one's willing to film with her. And so they're having issues like figuring out who's going to be in this cast. But I don't know. I don't know if it delivered enough. I mean, Chanel Ayan was iconic. Chanel Ionic. That's what we should call her. She is probably the best thing that came out of that series. And I don't know if it had a lot of other staying power. So we'll see if it gets a season 2, but sounds like Phaedra is not making her move to Dubai and instead going to stay nestled in Atlanta and be joining up with the ladies of Married to Medicine. So that could be a really interesting kind of play on, we've had now Taylor has moved from Taylor Armstrong has moved from Beverly Hills to the OC. And now we've got Phaedra potentially moving over to Married to Medicine. So this Bravo universe is really starting to overlap, and it's kind of cool. So the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip season 4, we've got back Vicky Gunvalson, Phaedra Parks, Brandi Glanville, and Eva Marcel. And then newcomers who are joining the cast, we've got Camille Grammer from Beverly Hills. I think this is a great one. I think, Camille tends to play it up for the camera. Sometimes it's a little artificial, but I feel like on a vacation, Camille will deliver. So I'm excited to see that. I don't know how she plays with the other girls in the sandbox, but we will soon find out. Gretchen Rossi, don't need her back. Don't know why we are putting her back on our screen. Honestly, I don't even know what the girl looks like anymore. If you ever see her Instagram, she has face-tuned her face to death, to the point that it just looks like someone took their thumb and smeared it across the photo. I don't know what she looks like. So I guess that'll be interesting to see her on the series, but I really don't know what she's going to deliver. I never thought that we needed a Gretchen return, but I guess we shall see. And Caroline Manzo, she's representing New Jersey on her own. There has been calls to bring Caroline back to Jersey. She said in an interview that she's ready to come and take down Teresa. I think that this is potentially our pathway to that. I think that there is a chance that we are going to get a Caroline Manzo return to Jersey, especially if after this season, if the rumors are true, we know that there, again, because everything plays out in the news media before it plays out on TV, we know that there's a lot of issues between Teresa and Joe and Melissa this season that come to fruition. At BravoCon, they couldn't even be on the same panel. They don't speak anymore. They essentially have disowned each other. Joe and Melissa did not attend Teresa's wedding. And so there are rumors that Bravo will not let Teresa go, but that because of all of this, Joe and Melissa will most likely not be back for another season of Jersey. So I feel like this could be teeing up the return of Caroline Manzo in Jersey. So I think it'll be interesting to see her. She always kind of plays this like matriarch mother character. So it'll be interesting to see how she sort of like does with these other ladies who some of them are just over the top. She kind of stands out as like the Lone Ranger. I don't even know who she will like buddy up with. And then the last one is the return of Alex McCord. I mean, man, did she deliver on those early seasons of New York. Her and Simon Van Kempen, like they were a pair. I was so happy when I saw that she was announced on the show because people have called for her return to Real Housewives of New York legacy. But she lives in Australia. And so I don't think that makes sense. And so this makes sense to bring her back in this capacity. She is representing New York on her own, and I think that she's going to do a fantastic job with that. And I love it because when she was announced, I immediately went back to the Marrakesh season of New York, where the ladies went there, and Luann thought a buffalo was coming down the stairs, and oh no, it was just Alex McCord. And she talked about Luann told her that she had her Herman Munster shoes and all of that. So what was amazing is that Alex announced her return to Bravo with the picture of the quote Herman Munster shoes. It was amazing. So I am excited for Alex McCord. I think that she's also like a Caroline. Maybe the two of them are going to be buddies, but she's one where, her life is so different from being on the Housewives. She's not like a society woman like she really wanted to be back in the day. And so I don't know how she's going to play with these women either. But I think it's a great casting choice. I'm super, super excited. So tons of news. So we've got those four ladies. They are headed to film season 4 of Ultimate Girls Trip. And as I said, Bravo just keeps delivering the news, keeps delivering on these shows. We are getting tons. So I'm excited to see what 2023 has in store as we start to, find out more about what's happening on these shows, and then obviously see them hit our screens. So that's the gist of the casting news this week. Who knows what this next week will bring? But if you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Give us a rating. I would really love to know what you want more of. So find me on socials. I'm at CM Vetrano at Twitter, Instagram, and Listen It's Vetrano at Facebook. So please find me, please connect. Let's have conversations. What do you want to hear more of? And, not to super tease, but I've got a special guest joining me next week, that I can't wait, to dive into all the things that happen over the next 7 days. So anyways, thanks so much for joining. Tune in next week with my special guest, and I will, see you, talk to you, listen to you then. All right. This has been The Gist. I'm Chris Vetrano. Thanks so much. Bye.